Coming up in just 3 minutes.
It took them a century to get this. It's not going to take us anywhere near a century to get rid of it.
Did Rush Limbaugh ever go to prom? It's no surprise passage of health care reform left Rush Limbaugh spewing angry rhetoric. But does he speak for the Republican Party? Should he? The Schuster Showdown is next, and a program.
Obama is not a leader. He has not led the people. He has not won over the people. His tactics are those of a thug, not a statesman.
Radio host Rush Limbaugh today once again railing against Democrats and demonizing President Obama. And it may be working. Take a look at this. According to a new Harris poll, 67% of Republicans think the president is a socialist. 57% of Republicans think he's Muslim. 45% don't think he was born in this country. 38% of Republicans think President Obama is, quote, doing what Hitler did. And get this, 24% say the President of the United States is the Antichrist. Each day that passes without a single Republican lawmaker denouncing the hatred spewed by Limbaugh and the Tea Party protesters, it becomes more relevant to ask, does Rush Limbaugh speak for the GOP? That brings us to today's Schuster Showdown. Mark Levine is an attorney and radio personality. Mike Slater is a radio talk show host. Mark Levine, Republicans must be getting some of this garbage from somewhere. Who are they getting it from?
Well, they get it from Rush Limbaugh, they get it from Fox News, they get it from their own leadership. They get it from the same Republicans that shout baby killer out in the House. They get it from John Boehner. I mean, there's some really extreme language that's being used by the Republicans because I think they realize they've lost this and it makes them very upset, and so they're trying to enrage the American public. Mike Slater?
Yeah, if you want to bring this debate to a higher level, let's do it. I know my listeners here in Tennessee are very concerned about what seems to be a brazen disregard for what a right is and who grants it. Rights aren't granted by Congress. And what the president did this morning was sign something into law.
That's fine. That's a separate argument, though. The argument here is when 38% of Republicans think President Obama is, quote, doing what Hitler did. Do you believe that?
I don't, and my listeners, I don't think they do.
Okay, but why do 38% of Republicans believe that? Now, let's focus on this. Hitler killed 6 million people. Hitler killed millions of American troops. Nazi Germany. Why do 38% of Republicans think there's any comparison between President Obama and Adolf Hitler? Why?
Yeah, a lot of my listeners are very concerned that we're headed towards that path. Why head more towards in that direction?
But again, the question wasn't, the question, Mike, though, wasn't, are we headed on that path? The question is he doing what Hitler did? 38% say he is doing what Hitler did.
Yep. Why, we're not killing people in the gulags, but why even head in that direction, David?
Well, I'm just wondering why people. Well, I'm just wondering why people even believe that's happening now. Mike Slater, again, though, let's on the other side of this, Americans, a lot of Americans are uninformed. A lot of Americans, I think, if you poll them, would have no idea what it was that Hitler did because they don't study history. Why is it fair to blame this on conservative talk radio?
Why is it fair to say that we're the ones saying this? I don't necessarily think it is. I think it's easy to take an extreme segment of the population and blame that for the entire movement. We try to speak to a higher level, and I hope we can all do that together.
Right, and Mark Levine, that last question was aimed at you. I mean, why is it fair to pin this on conservative talk radio?
Well, David, if you heard Rush Limbaugh today, he specifically compared Barack Obama to Hitler. He said, in fact, that Bart Stupak was the Neville Chamberlain to Barack Obama's Hitler. This is not rhetoric that's coming out of nowhere. People understand that Tea Party activists are drawing Hitler mustaches on Obama. They're doing it for a reason. Let's face it. There are a lot of mostly angry white Southern male fundamentalist Christians, most of them, who are very angry. They see their power being taken away. They see blacks in power. They see a woman Speaker of the House. They see a gay man as head of the Financial Services Committee, and they're worried, and so they're frustrated. The irony is this health care bill will actually help most of the people. They just don't know it.
Mark Levine and Mike Slater, thank you both very much. I have a feeling that the American people are wiser than what they oftentimes hear from the fringe on the radio, and let's hope that's the case. But in any case, thank you both for coming on today. At the